Hello, my name is Bradley Logan. I am a recovering licensed attorney. What do I mean by that? Well, I used to have a law license and I stopped paying my membership dues to the Bar Association when I realized how corrupted that system was, led by the men and women in black robes, judges who preside over the rules and laws of the land. The program that we most think that we were born into. Civil rules of procedure, I call it, statutory law, man-made law, the rules and regulations that Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, told people in the Bible they ought not to be following. Do not follow man-made laws and rules. He said the Pharisees and the Sadducees stacked laws on top of his father's laws and corrupted the world that we live in. This is the first story told in the Bible. One of the first stories told in the Bible was the children of God trying to escape their slavery, trying to get out of Pharaoh's control, trying to leave the Egypt, set themselves free, and enter the promised land. And this is the story of my life. For about 40 years of my life, I wandered around in the desert, literally in Arizona, until my mind recognized the program I had been trained into under the law license, a license to lie and get away with it and actually be paid to tell lies on behalf of your clients. Now, of course, this isn't how they teach it to you. But why do I say it's a license to lie? Well, you think about the idea of a law license is to defend your client at all costs. And if you need to use trickery or sleight of hand, sleight of the words, deception in doing so, but it's to the benefit of your client, then you're allowed to do it. And not only allowed, but you're instructed to do this. And it's much like the medical license from my perspective, right? And all licenses that come from man-made laws, that's where the licenses come from. That's permission from Pharaoh, a license in some capacity, to do things that you're naturally born and able to do under God's laws, under the law of love, under the law of do no harm to your neighbor, right? And then we've been regulated and restricted and governed and controlled by a few elite at the top of a pyramid scheme that are trying to proclaim to protect us when they're really just instilling fear into us through their systems, the systems of the media, the public school system, the political system. Most of the spiritual 501c3 statutory entities that proclaim to teach God's word, they're built on a shaky foundation, statutory law. Yeshua said, don't do this. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. So if you built your organization according to Caesar's rules and laws, the government or Pharaoh being synonymous with Caesar, then yes, you have enslaved yourself, put yourself into their systems. You're a taxpayer. You're using their programs. But there is another way. This is what I teach people today. This is why I gave up my law license, because with that license, I'm not allowed to talk about non-statutory organizations, non-statutory agreements, or non-statutory covenants, right? So like a medical doctor isn't allowed to suggest protocols that aren't found in the American Medical Association protocol book, the diagnosis book, the death culture, the program that keeps us numb and dumb. If the doctor suggests another alternative, he's in jeopardy of losing his identity as a doctor, losing his license and his livelihood. This is what the program, the public system has taught professionals and taught us, the children of God, who become slaves, to follow instead of the higher law, the law of love, the law that sets us free, the law that is common sense, common law, natural law. Natural consequences are so evident in when you treat somebody with respect, you treat them with love, you're going to receive love and respect back from them. But the program, the law license, the law of contracts, the legal agreements that we use to create the world that we live in has turned this all upside down. And we don't even know it because we were taught it at birth. Our parents, for most of us, put us right into the system, gave us a slave number, AKA Social Security number, and then they start tracking your spiritual energy. They start tracking through actuarial tables how much the average individual will generate in a lifetime, given the date that you were born, the time you were born, the astrological arrangement of the stars, which is what I mean by your birth date. And they have tables that they run, and they trade these things on a bond system, all of those numbers from your birth certificate, social security number, driver's license, all these things are traded on through financial instruments created by matrix systems, lawyers and licensed security exchange commissioners and these type of things. Many of us don't even know this. More and more are waking up to it every day for sure. But if you're hearing some of these things for the first time, come learn more about this in our Divine Law Masterclass. If you're already aware of these things and you want to go deeper and reclaiming your identity and standing in your journey through life as a child of God, these are the things that you're going to learn about in this Divine Law Masterclass led by Jonathan England and myself. We are both kingdom builders. We are both in a position of creating a new world with new technologies, actually the ancient technologies. It all comes from the Bible. It's all found in this golden rule book that says, first love God, and then secondly, love your neighbor as yourself. And then you have no other laws that need to be complied with because they're all summed up in those two laws. So we invite you to Divine Law Masterclass. Go deeper with us in these conversations. Learn more about your true identity and who you are as a child of God. Set yourself free, and we'll show you the way. Looking forward to seeing you. You can press the link below this button, divinelawmasterclass.com, and come visit us. Thank you.